being a Zelda fan, I can't say anything because like Majora's Mask was like a whole.
What's up, ScrubHub?
What's up, Doc?
What's up?
Not much, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Did you have to bring that today?
Maybe.
Did you have to bring it today?
It's a Keyblade.
It is a fucking... Dude, the chain is so long.
Dude, I know. It's a little bit longer than... So today we're talking about Jedi Star Force. Is that even a game?
No, but it sounded like it was fucking real. Sounds kind of sick, honestly. So, what can you guys guess we're fucking talking about today?
But they saw the title.
It's true.
So no guess. We don't do guesses.
Yeah, let's not pander.
We don't do guesses.
You guys know what we're talking about.
Up ScrubHub. I'm Doc Bishop.
And I am Pants. How you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm okay. I'm in a mood. Like a good mood.
Good mood.
We also have a monitor down below us.
Yeah.
So if you see us like looking at you and then looking down, it's because we're looking at ourselves. Also, my drink is on the ground.
I think you look good today. Oh!
All right.
Dude, this fucking podcast so far. So crazy. You look sharp, kid.
Thanks, man.
I think it's really funny.
I ran out of clothes.
Yeah. I think it's really funny.
T-shirts. I didn't run out of socks though. I am. Check that out.
Ooh.
It doesn't count because I did that joke earlier. Dude, my mic's all jacked.
Doc's always hurt my feelings.
Anyway, I know.
I was gonna say it's really funny that normally you never see me in a button up.
Dude, oh yeah, you got a button up. I have a button up. We did not plan this.
Yeah, we did not plan that, and I for once I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get myself a shirt.
There you go.
I got a shirt. I wore it today, and I walked in. I was like, Doc's wearing my shirt. Let's go. Looking sharp. And we're talking about a very sharp game today.
The second game. So this is the second game in a series.
That is right.
Of Kingdom Hearts. Today, specifically, we're talking about Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 2 only. We might reference Kingdom Hearts 1, obviously, because I think there are some important things carried over from the first game into this one.
Right. Totally. And I think there was a couple of
there's a couple misspokes.
Missspokes. So we made a couple bloopers here and there.
Well, that's just because we're constantly thinking about Kingdom Hearts and mixing up the games.
It's, as you'll learn, if you haven't already played Kingdom Hearts, I really highly suggest you stop this video and go play it.
Yeah, because we definitely don't want to... I don't think... Okay, let me say this. I don't think we have the capacity in the time frame of this podcast to actually spoil Kingdom Hearts.
You can't. It's so hard.
But we will be talking about some major plots in this game specifically that are important to the franchise as a whole.
Totally. And when we do that, we're going to try to be inclusive of the first game, like we mentioned, because we had already podcasted about it.
Yeah, there will definitely be references to the first one.
Small plug. If you haven't seen that, there's going to be a little box. Probably up in that corner.
Don't know. I don't add them, so.
I'll figure it out. It'll be somewhere. Go check out that first video so you don't miss anything. We'll be inclusive of that first game, but like Doc said, if you're a veteran or anything, do not anticipate us talking about anything further because there's a ton of people that will find this.
And you've only played the first two games.
That's facts. I personally have only played the first two.
And then you're going to play the third game?
That's right, which I'm so excited about because...
I'm interested in this. I'm interested in what's going to happen.
I am too, because you know me probably better than a lot of people in terms of being a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about me, I think a lot of gamers can relate to this, is don't mess with my favorite things. Don't toy with them. Don't touch them. Just leave them alone.
You'll like Kingdom Hearts 3.
And I'm very excited about that because for once in a while, we'll jump into this funny stuff. I thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is Kingdom Hearts 3 as the main line. And that's why I'm saying it'll be interesting because there are I said 14. I think there's 13 games total in the franchise.
Including canon mobile games too.
That does include that, yep. So I think there's 13 total. And so the story's kind of like all over the place. So it'll be interesting for someone like you to come out on the other end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and get your perspective of just having Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 3. You said you did Chain of Memories a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I dabbled.
But still, that's more integral to Kingdom Hearts 2 than it is.
Facts.
Than it is anything else.
Yeah, the entirety of the game and whatnot.
Until you do, I think, what is it? Chain of Memories Rebirth, I think. Is technically the flip side with Riku. We'll get into that in another video in the future.
But Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Hearts 2. No, yeah. So I think, we say all that to preface for Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2.
Where's it pick up?
Oh my God. It picks up a year or 2 years. I'm a little unsure. It's some time frame after the events of Kingdom Hearts 1. And it starts off really different. I want to say this. Kingdom Hearts 2 is twice the game, twice the enemies, twice the story, twice everything.
Double it.
Double it. You double it. You're like, hey, cool, there's Heartless. Cool, now we introduce a new enemy. Hey, cool, there's this. Now we introduce new stuff. And you'll understand why I say everything's doubled. So Kingdom Hearts 2 starts off, like I said, I think a year after. But instead of Sora, who you expected to start the game off as, you start off as a guy named Roxas.
Like Roxas. What's your initial thoughts?
So I think it was that moment of like, who the F is this guy?
Right, dude.
Who's this guy? What is happening right now? And it only got weirder. So you're playing as Roxas, and it's him and his friends, and it's the last, I think, 7 days of summer vacation. Right?
Very cute. Yeah, I like that. Especially being a kid, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that. You know, you try to hang out with your buddies and do whatever you can and
soaking in the sun, getting your last little bit
like, oh man, school's right around the corner, whatever, be it homeschool or whatnot.
Right.
You're like, I'm not going to be able to hang out with my friends
like this.
And there are probably tons of things that we planned to do during the summer that we didn't do. So now let's go and do those things.
This is our last little hurrah. We've got to make it count.
And so things like that are happening, and we're in a new town. It's called Traverse Town. Right?
Yeah.
No.
No, this is Twilight Town.
Twilight Town. Sorry, Traverse Town was the first one.
A lot of towns.
Twilight Town. And still the TT, you know?
TT.
And so it's the last 7 days, and there are things going on. There are like festivals and stuff. I think there's like a tournament that's happening in the square.
Right. With Seltzer.
All the kids.
Setzer.
All the kids want to go to the beach. So during one of those days, they decide to raise money. Different things happen. But Roxas is experiencing weird things. He's experiencing visions, seemingly flashbacks, dreams, all of these things connecting to Sora, which still makes you go, who the F is this guy?
Huh. That's weird.
And so that progressively, as that happens, you learn. I heard my phone go off. It was on vibrate. As these things happen, you're kind of like piecing things together. You're seeing new characters. A guy in a black robe with red hair. It's always like, got it memorized. You know?
Got it memorized.
Who supposedly knows who Roxas is. Roxas has no idea who he is. You see this other guy in like red bandaged face, which you find out later is Diz. Another guy who's just in a hood. You don't see his face. Don't know who he is. All of these people, Roxas's friends don't see.
Yeah, they're completely like ambiguous to it. They don't see any of it, and he gets frustrated. Roxas gets frustrated with everything because he's totally alone in this. No one to talk to, and the people that he can communicate with are the thing that he needs to talk about. Yeah,
and then I think day 2 this happens. An enemy pops up, and it's not a Heartless, and you're like, who the F is this guy?
Yeah, it almost seems like you start Kingdom Hearts up and you're like, oh boy, Sora, Donald, Mickey, and a Heartless. And it's like, no, this is a different game. And it's literally, it takes you like you said, it's through a progression of a whole week. And you play through like the second day, you're like, all right. And then day 3, you wake up as Roxas again, you're like, motherfucker. Where is Sora at?
Yeah. So it's pretty wild. So anyway, fast forward to day 7. Day 7, Roxas has had all these crazy memories, flashbacks, whatever. Ultimately
Stuff
learns.
at this mansion.
Ultimately finds this girl Naminé in the mansion. Who the F is she? Like, who the F? What the F is happening?
Who the F?
Who the F? All this stuff's happening. Ultimately, so to fast forward, ignore all this crazy, weird story bits. Ultimately, you find out that Sora, Donald, and Goofy are sealed away in these pods and have been asleep for a year. Over a year-ish. A year-ish, 2 years, something like that. And through Diz, Roxas learns that he is a part of Sora.
That's right.
He is one half of Sora.
Yeah, he's the other half.
And once Roxas realizes that, Sora wakes up. Roxas is returned to Sora, gets all his memories. Sora wakes up. Boom.
Very special line. It looks like my summer's over.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That's really good, though. And I think it's really cool. And the reason, and that calls back to Chain of Memories, which was the game in between 1 and 2, where Sora and company are going through Castle Oblivion, I believe is what it's called, and losing memories, and they get sealed away, and Naminé is responsible for restoring Sora's memories, which took a long time, and that's why they're sealed away in the pods. Otherwise, if you didn't play that game,
you wouldn't know that, which, again, I barely, between Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, which I don't think we noted this. Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2002, right? Or is it 2003? We just released this,
Oh, dude, I don't know. I completely blanked. 2002 was Kingdom Hearts 1.
Right, so I think
Kingdom
maybe
Hearts 2 didn't come out
2004, 2005.
Sure.
Fact check us. Let us know in the comments. It's probably going to be in the bio because I gotta upload the description. And I'll probably figure
it'll be
out.
in there. I completely forget. I actually didn't look at that date.
But it's funny because, as you were just saying, you're interested and excited to see what my experience is, having played only the core Kingdom Hearts games. Even as a kid, when I played Rechain of Memories, it wasn't on the PlayStation. It was the
Game Boy.
It was the Game Boy Advance version, which I didn't love. Because
it's so different.
It's so different.
I wish I had a Rechain of Memories for you to play.
I did actually. I should say this. I really enjoyed the game, but as a child, you really. It's funny because I kind of stuck with this as an adult too. You really kind of sometimes stick with what you know and you enjoy the best. So I never finished it, and I never explored the depths of the games, which is why for the most part I stuck with just the first one and the second one on the main consoles or whatever. But going into it. I didn't finish Rechain of Memories. So when those things, I met Naminé and they were talking about putting his memories together. I was like, what in the fuck happened? What happened? Of course, but if you had played the game, I'm almost sure that you go into it feeling like a boss because you're like, dude, I went through all this. I know exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah. I mean, and actually, I don't want to say I didn't play Chain of Memories on the Game Boy, so I only played it on the PS2, which came out after Kingdom Hearts 2. So I went into Kingdom Hearts 2 like, what the heck?
Really?
What is this stuff? Yeah,
because you didn't play the Game Boy one,
right?
Interesting.
Not until later, not until after, because I didn't know about it. I didn't know it existed.
Right. We touched on this a little bit on the first one. I think it's interesting to note again that in a lot of ways, for a long time, the story of Kingdom Hearts was locked behind a console. So to elaborate a little bit on this for those that didn't watch the first episode, yet again, Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2 on PS2. Rechain of Memories, like Doc said, just came out. It came out after Kingdom Hearts 2 had been released on the PS2.
On the PS2, yeah.
So if you had a PS2 and you were playing a lot of the Kingdom Hearts games on the PS2, you got that story after. But then following all those things, even, like I said, they put the one Game Boy game on the Game Boy Advance, which was kind of filler in between the two. That was completely different. It was the Game Boy Advance Rechain of Memories.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, actually, don't know. Was that game actually released in between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2? It was.
Chain of Memories was, yeah.
Crazy. So
like the games that came out in a specific order.
So
and if you had all the consoles, then you got to play them in the order.
Exactly. And that's so crazy that it was almost like Square Enix for once, because most of the time, for a long while, they were putting all of their main core games on Sony consoles, right? And then that with the 360, and with Nintendo more so, I think at the time, because Game Boy Advance games were, or the Game Boy Advance was getting a lot of Square Enix love, I think.
I mean, there's tons of great stuff on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh yeah, amazing stuff. So I think right at that moment, Square Enix was like, somebody was like, we're gonna kind of lock this story away to people, to gamers.
See, I don't know that that's
because
there's no way. I'm sorry, There's no way that Square Enix is the one that said, "Hey, let's put this other game on this console." No way.
But what about the story? I'm just talking about the story.
Like, I don't think Square Enix makes that type of a decision. Like,
you don't think so?
Sure, the writer and stuff like that is like, okay, cool, we're making a game. I'm sure different teams worked on different things, but they're like, okay, we're gonna do this game, and I forget the writer's name.
We literally just heard it earlier.
But they're the person who's like, oh, this one is gonna go on this console.
Really?
Oh
you
yeah.
think so?
Oh yeah.
That's so interesting.
No, it's too good of a plan for Square Enix to do that, and no
you
other.
Say it's too smart for him.
It's too smart.
Too five
and
head.
no other game series does that. Has never done that.
That's the thing. Is
and
no
that's
one
what I'm
else
saying.
has
There's
done
no
it.
way. There's no way.
So let's
that
backtrack.
Kingdom Hearts
this.
is this popular because Square Enix said, "Oh, we're gonna take these other games and put them on other consoles."
Right.
No way.
So let's backtrack this a little bit. So you had obviously Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, which were on the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
That's one console. You had Rechain, which
came out later on the PS2.
PS2, still one console. Then you had Chain of Memories, which was now Game Boy Advance, getting into two consoles.
And then Game Boy Advance also had Recoded, which was a remake of a mobile game.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Which was, I think, Japan only. I don't know that we ever got coded. It was called Kingdom Hearts Coded.
Okay.
And I think the Game Boy Advance got recoded.
Gotcha. Okay, so now we're still at two consoles, which is like not even really that bad, but it was split between two companies. And gamers know gamers. I mean, sometimes you stick with one company, sometimes you don't. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then we got 358 over 2 days.
And that was on DS, right?
That was on the DS. I want to say it was on DS, yes.
So we're up to 3.
So, and that one takes place before Kingdom Hearts 2 as well.
Jeez. Dude, like...
So that... And I don't know that came out before Kingdom Hearts 2. Pretty sure it came out after, but it takes place... It makes the Roxas stuff make sense. So DS. Then we got Birth by Sleep, which was the next main game.
It was also on 3DS.
PSP.
Okay, yeah, that's the other console I was forgetting about. So PSP. So now we're at 4, actually.
And Dream Drop Distance was on the 3DS.
PS2, GBA, PSP, 3DS. Yep, so that's 4. Sorry,
5.
that's...
DS and 3DS are two different consoles. Because if you had a DS,
right.
you could not play the 3DS version.
You're right. So right now, just even with those games, we're at 5. And is that the the stopping point?
And then there was the mobile.
So then you have to have you have to have a smartphone.
Unchained. Smartphone, it was also a browser based. You could play on your computer.
Okay, so a PC or a computer, smartphone of some sort.
And then Kingdom Hearts 3 is on PS4.
Right, but before then, at least before the third one came out.
Am I missing a game?
I don't think so. Well, I think you might be, but we're not missing a console, though. That's the important thing.
Okay, we're not missing a console. But anyway, the entire franchise is split across 6 or 7 or 7 platforms.
And the thankful thing that before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, they were like, okay, there's a lot of people that don't have the full story, and they just can't get it because between 5 consoles, 6 maybe, prior to Kingdom Hearts 3, that's a lot of money, man.
Oh man, is, especially
so
as a kid.
Much.
And
yeah, as a
that's
kid.
what blows me away. I remember playing. We established this. I think I was 14 when Kingdom Hearts came out. That's years before a kid has a job to make money to buy these consoles and games and stuff. And if you're not in a fortunate family for them to just buy you these things on Christmas, You're like, oh, I love this game. Oh, the second one. And I think that's why I never played Chain of Memories till it was on the PS2 because I didn't know about it.
Right. Makes sense or whatever. But at some point, they were like, okay, the story is divvied up a lot. We probably bring a lot of benefit, not only to our fans, but we bring in probably a lot more fans, too, if we were just like, let's put the old games out again. Except this time, we're going to give them all the games that they couldn't play in the order in which they should play them. On the consoles that they have on one package, which is where you got like the 1.5, eventually the 2.5, then you get the 2.8, right?
Yeah.
And then you get, even after that, they brought out the 1.5 and 2.5 package, where it was
the all-in-one.
The all-in-one total package.
Which all-in-one may also include Kingdom Hearts 3, I think.
The one I got, because I got mine through...
the story, it's called the story so far, is 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8 is the story so far. And then the all-in-one is the story so far plus Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I didn't get the true all-in-one one. I got the one with 2.8 and stuff. But yeah, I think that's just important to note. And I think that's super interesting that for the first time, this story was really riddled across so many different places and for so long. Thank God the internet.
There's also Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory.
Which is
on PS4, which is awesome. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's the rhythm one, yeah.
But it's canon.
No fucking way.
It's canon post Kingdom Hearts 3.
You gotta give them credit. The only game series that's ever been like, we're gonna make a rhythm game, and that's fucking canon.
It's fun.
You gotta play it.
It's fun. I should let you play it.
I bet it is fun,
dude. It's pretty fun.
Because
we'll play it. I'll let you see that before I let you see.
In Kingdom Hearts 3. And in Kingdom Hearts 2, at a certain point, we'll get back to Kingdom Hearts 2.
We will. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. You guys are getting a lot of info.
Yeah, it's a lot of different good Kingdom Hearts info you're getting right now. But in terms of like rhythm stuff and rhythm-based stuff, there's one world in particular in Kingdom Hearts 2 that's primarily rhythm-based stuff.
Oh my god. Freaking
so
Atlantica.
Much fun.
Atlantica was awesome in Kingdom Hearts 2, so you didn't have a traditional level like you did in the first game. And I don't know if that's because it's an underwater level and they decided, underwater levels suck.
Yeah, that the controls were like... It's not that... I think... We didn't say this in the Kingdom Hearts 1 episode, but the controls in Atlantis, for being what they are...
It's called Atlantica.
Or Atlantica, I'm sorry. That's correct.
But we did say Atlantis.
But, for... doing what they were doing and like the controls, you could literally move up and down, forward, backward, left, right, all of it. And you were fighting. I mean,
they did a really good job with the water level.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it made
water
sense.
Levels suck.
Yeah, I think it made
suck
sense
in every game.
For them to have done that.
I don't know I wonder if it's a license issue. Like, we didn't get Tarzan again because of a license issue.
Why exactly was that?
Was
that because
I'm not sure. I think licenses changed. Like, it's not that Disney lost Tarzan, but maybe someone else had the rights.
That would have had to have been it.
I'm not 100%. It's the reason it didn't get in there. But instead of getting Tarzan, we did get additional levels in Kingdom Hearts 2, like Tron.
Oh, Tron was awesome.
And Pirates of the Caribbean, which is wild.
Yeah, Pirates is pretty sick too.
We got things like this is one thing we messed up. The first game we referenced Nightmare Before Christmas. And we said Christmas Town. Christmas Town is in Kingdom Hearts 2.
It's in Do-Si-Do.
Because we were just remembering it and like, because it's so good.
Hard when you start playing.
It gets mixed.
I haven't even played all these games, but between Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, you have to admit they're on a lot of levels very similar.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Is to be expected.
So they added Mulan, which was cool. They added the what is it? Rivers of Time, which was really neat.
So cool.
It goes back to like an old school. I don't know when
the Timeless River is.
Timeless River. I don't know like what time frame that was.
I would say it's probably like early 30s. Mickey Mouse, early 30s.
Early Disney, Mickey Mouse, black and white, super cool. But the reason we get a lot of mix is because we got more Aladdin, we got more Hercules, which actually gave us a level.
Yeah, it's just fully expanded, yeah.
We got more Atlantica, we got more
We actually got to see Disney Castle. We actually got to go to Disney Castle because you see it a little bit in the first one. But
you mean like Mickey's Castle?
Yeah. Or not Disney Castle, but Mickey's Castle. Yeah.
Yeah, the kingdom.
Wait, is Disney Castle canon?
Disney Castle?
What? Yeah. Is that a real place, or is that breaking a meta for like the Disney universe?
I think Disney Castle. I think is its own thing.
I think my head just exploded.
I don't know, but it's Mickey's Kingdom or whatever that is.
That's right. Which is where you find the Cornerstone of Light, which is where Timeless River is. Yep. Super cool too. So there's interesting ways for you to also explore these new worlds as well.
I was trying to think. We go back to Winnie the Pooh, which we didn't talk about in the first episode, which was super fun. So we get to revisit. Beast Castle is really good. So we get to revisit these other characters like Aladdin, Simba. We go to Pride Lands.
Yeah, we become Lion Sora or Cub Sora or whatever.
Cub Sora. All these new worlds and new places just add to what's already there. And being able, like Simba was a summon in the first game. And now he's an actual character you get to play with as a part of your team in this game, and it's really cool to see the interaction between them. Mushu was the same way.
Yeah, because they remember you.
Stitch is a summon, but there is no Lilo and Stitch level.
No, we didn't get a Lilo and Stitch level.
Chicken Little's a summon, which is weird.
Right. You see that a little bit. I think at the time the movies that were coming out for Disney, they were trying to plug themselves a lot. I think Chicken Little was a big one right there. Pirates of the Caribbean was a 2-in-1 because admittedly taking pirates into an action adventure RPG game that was set up like this.
And it was based on the Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah. And it was just totally a good opportunity for that. But like Chicken Little seemed like it was just a little, hey, it's Disney.
Like that's an oddball one. You know what? We didn't go back to Peter Pan.
No, but he came back as a summon as well.
But he came back as a summon. So there were lots of cool crossovers. So that's why we get mixed up. So anyway, we're going to take a break. And we're going to come back and actually finish talking about the story of this game.
That's right.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get carried away.
It's easy to do.
Welcome back.
Every fucking time.
I know. That time was on purpose. Anyway, we're talking about Kingdom Hearts 2. We were just talking about the worlds and stuff like that.
That's right.
I was trying to think. I was like, man, where'd we leave off?
So
that's the worlds.
Those are the worlds. We kind of left off with Roxas. Now his summer's over.
Summer's over,
and Sora's now awakened.
So Sora's awakened, and Sora is...
He finds himself in Twilight Town.
He does find himself in Twilight Town. That's true. I was trying to think, like, where is he? So he's in Twilight Town. He meets
Hayner, Pence, Olette.
Hayner, Pence, and Olette. Hayner was the one I couldn't remember. Meets them, which were friends of Roxas. They don't know Sora. Sora doesn't know them, but they have this kind of like feeling, you know?
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, their hearts are connected.
Their feelings.
To where they kind of know, like, even when Sora's like leaving, he's like sheds a tear because he's leaving. He's like,
why am I crying?
And so it's really cool. It's really nice. And Sora's also like, why are the worlds in chaos? Like, they go back to, what's his name? Not Merlin.
So they travel around and they end.
They find Mickey. They find
Mickey and they give
who's now out of the Door of Darkness.
Give him back the pouch that actually was stolen from Roxas, the money that they had collected.
Mm-hmm.
Gave him the pouch. Said, "Hey, there's going to be a train here waiting for you. Take the train,
Mickey sends him a train,
and then you'll know what to do."
And that takes them to
Yen Sid.
Yen
Sid's tower, who is...
I was trying to think. I was like, Yen Sid has a gimmick to his name. It's Disney spelled backwards.
Yeah. It's Yen Sid, Master Yen Sid, who is Mickey's mentor in magic and all that stuff.
Taught him ways of the Keyblade.
Let's not forget that Donald is actually it is Mickey's mentor, but it's also Donald's mentor directly as well in magic and stuff.
Is he specifically?
I'm pretty sure. Because that's who taught, I'm pretty sure, Donald how to use magic and stuff. So I think it gets...
I don't know.
I think it gets slept on. If that's a true fact...
Donald is one of the strongest mages in all of video games.
That's what I was going to say, is Donald's actually incredibly powerful.
You have no idea.
I end up... One of my friends, spoilers...
Spoiled it!
Mother... Don't do that shit, gamers. Kingdom Hearts 2. just don't.
Your friends suck.
I know.
Because there are good moments in Kingdom Hearts 3, man.
I know. And it was like, hey, guess what? Donald's the most powerful. Here's why. And I'm like,
anyway, I won't spoil it.
It took them all of 5. This is the thing. It takes you all of 5 seconds to ruin.
But you know what?
Really good experience or
something.
So
there's also this weird thing, and we're gonna get back to Kingdom Hearts 2. There's also this weird moment where if you have a friend who doesn't really play video games as much as you do, they're kind of free, to tell stuff of a game, right? Like
permission is courteous.
So that's true. Like, but there's not like, how do I put this? Okay,
context is also important.
If I knew that you loved Kingdom Hearts and you're like, oh man, I want to play Kingdom Hearts 3 so bad, I probably wouldn't say anything. But if you were like, I do this and I do this, I don't play video games, I don't really care, blah, 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 and you came across like that, I'd probably be like, holy crap, dude, you know what just happened in Kingdom Hearts 3? At that point, that is your responsibility to be like, dude, I don't want to know. But if you're like, what? Then you're just open to be told whatever.
If it's based on a preface, let me say this, my spoiler friends...
Because you wouldn't care if I said, hey man, you know what happened in Mirror's Edge?
Yeah, because it's a... and again, this is a context.
Because you don't care about Mirror's Edge.
No, yeah, I do. I don't really care that deeply about the story, but the game itself is really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Totally random, but my spoiler friends, it takes them all of 5 seconds to... It's almost like they're like a dog. There's a biscuit on the fucking corner of the table, and that biscuit is telling your best friend about your favorite part in your video game that you just played, and they just want it so bad, and they're like, spoilers!
You know what I find?
And they just spew it out, and I'm like, I had no control over that.
You want to know something that I find super fascinating? So in regards... We're talking about Donald and his magic. I don't know if he's connected to Yen Sid. That might be right. I don't know. It's interesting to me that moments like that are so big that those are the moments everyone talks about. But then like other moments people don't talk about at all. And you're like, which are still big moments.
Oh yeah, like the larger moments. I think it's because they're obvious. They're almost implied, like everyone knows.
And it's just weird when if you start talking about Kingdom Hearts 3, you can only almost pinpoint each instance that someone's like, oh yeah, they're going to mention this.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, like that thing you just said. Like, there are just moments in games that people talk about that are more prominent than others.
Oh, the obvious ones. Like, yeah.
And it's just fascinating to me that those are the things people talk about as opposed to other things that are just as big in regards to the story. Like, so what? So Donald's the most powerful magic user in Disneydom.
Yeah.
/ Final Fantasy. Like, that's the big...
That's what I've heard, is he's...
Like,
yeah.
The fact... Okay, so that happens, but, like, so what? That has nothing to do with the game. Like, it doesn't matter.
It's because people like, I think, to have... They
it's
like
just
to feel
the
like
Easter
they
egg
have...
stuff,
yes.
maybe?
Yeah, they like to read... Being a Zelda fan, I can't say anything because, like, Majora's Mask was, like, a whole...
No, I can't say that. Well, I have to play it.
We're going to brush past that.
It's so bad.
Majora's Mask was an absolute can of worms for Nintendo in terms of, like, speculation. And
this is a Kingdom Hearts episode. Why are you talking about Majora's Mask?
All I'm saying is, like, fans love to have... feel like they have something that was not canon or would never ever said anything, because then you're like, I know something that not everyone else knows.
Except the problem is, that's my point. You get these moments where it's like, oh, did you know that this? And it's like, well, yeah, because everyone knows this because everyone's talking about that.
I don't get on the internet very much.
You live on the internet.
Well, I live in the tattoo world.
On the internet.
On the internet.
Like, a lot of your life is internet. Anyway,
Touché.
Kingdom Hearts 2. So Sword leaves Twilight Town. Goes to Yen Sid's castle.
He gets informed.
So he gets to Yen Sid's castle and is informed about this organization called Organization 13 because it consists of 13 members. Actually, side note, in Kingdom Hearts 2, it does not consist of 13 members because in Chain of Memories, Sora and Riku killed half of them.
Yeah, murked.
They're just gone. And which
That's
is
cool.
not necessarily something that you find out. You don't know that.
It's implied though, because you at some point see their chairs, their thrones, and they're just like.
But if you've never played that game, you're like, where are these other guys at?
Oh yeah.
Where the F?
Yeah.
So you find out about the organization, and you learn that the organization is consisted of these enemies that Roxas encountered called nobodies. And it's the first time in the game, this is where I said they double up enemies. So you're dealing with Heartless, and you're dealing with nobodies, and you learn that nobodies are formed when a person becomes a Heartless. So, and a strong-willed person, when they become a Heartless, their nobody is formed and is a strong-willed nobody, and those are what turned into Organization 13.
Yeah, they have the ability to, not the ability to feel, but the ability to think and plan.
Right. So when Sora became a Heartless in Kingdom Hearts 1, Roxas was created.
That's right.
And nominate, but we won't go into that because that's confusing. But it's because Sora and Kairi were connected, because Naminé is Kairi's nobody, which is important to the story in the grand scheme of things. So you learn about these nobodies and you learn about this organization. So now Sora sent out to stop the organization, essentially.
What's he do first?
Huh?
What's he do first? Well, that boy's got to get all them fucking shorts, man.
He gets new clothes.
Yeah, because like as soon as you get up in Sora, his motherfucking shorts are all up to his thighs. You know what I'm saying?
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
he does
it's so good.
He does get new clothes. The new clothes have powers, which are really cool, which unlock like Wisdom form and Valor form and Limit form and Master form and Final form. Boom, that's all the forms. And Anti-Sora form.
Yeah. So in these drive
which
forms,
are all cool.
Yeah, they're super sick. Thematically, the idea is that like Valor form, your red form, you're doing a lot of physical damage. You're super fast. It's
also the state in which Sora and Goofy's hearts are connected.
Yes. So you can access that form via your connection with Goofy, and then the Wisdom form is via your connection with Donald, and so on and so forth. Yeah, there's these certain characters. I don't want to give them all away, because I think a couple of them are like really cool. Once you really,
and super important.
Yeah, and it's really important when you make the connection. You're like, that's what this form is. I get it now. But I love the clothes. All black. You get this clean, sleek Sora. It's very cool. And the fairies.
Cool. I was like, you can't see them on the camera, but there is normal Wisdom and Valor right there.
Oh, that's rad. It's sick. Doc with all of his little goodies on the shelf. But yeah, so we get some new duds, as Goofy would put it, and we are sent out to stop the organization.
Stop organization. I mean, and that's the majority of the game, kind of hunting down the organization, taking them down one by one. And the organization's main goal is once again to get Kingdom Hearts, to access Kingdom Hearts, because the organization, as nobodies, don't have hearts. So they want hearts, and they kind of want to just create a new world.
Yeah, they want a world for their own because they are not meant to exist. That's like the whole premise of nobodies, is like they weren't meant to exist at all. So for them to be in some sort of existence now, in this plane, I guess you'd call it, is futile, and their whole point is to get out of it and seek the maximum, because that you kind of learn later on that's kind of what their goals were prior and stuff.
So so you go to all the different worlds. You're reconnecting the worlds because you shut down all the connections prior in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
You're reconnecting the worlds, going a different way, helping the worlds again, preventing the Heartless, stopping nobodies, preventing Organization 13 from doing their stuff through the main line of the story. And then you learn one of the big factors is that Sora learns that Organization 13 kidnapped Kyrie. And so that's an even more drive to go and save Kyrie.
At one point prior to you actually going out, I can't remember every instance that they kind of like peppered this in, but when you do get your new clothes and you get sent off for the organization, you get a little sneak peek that Maleficent's back.
That's true.
Maleficent.
What are those? The fairy godmothers. What are their names?
It's like Mayweather.
Mayweather, Flora, Fauna.
I think
Flora,
so.
Fauna, Mayweather.
Yeah. So you kind of have this scene after you get in your clothes and they send you out of the room to go talk to Yen Sid again.
And it's because they were tricked. They were tricked into remembering her.
Yep.
And it brought Maleficent back,
Yes.
who you destroyed in the first game.
Right. So you kind of have the small vision. And I think you see it a couple more times. And then I think around the time of the Kyrie abduction incident, there's a lot going on. I think in Hollow Bastion, you go back there at one point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fucking ton of Heartless. And you and all, like, you, Cloud, Squall / Leon, because he goes by Squall a couple times.
Yeah, because the organization is artificially creating the Heartless.
That's right. Leon found the data, which the MCP from Tron's world was actually creating Heartless.
Here's something. Did you know this? Do you know there's a difference between Heartless?
The data Heartless and the...
No, not even the data Heartless. The data Heartless are new. It's a new edition, kind of, because they're being created. But there's a difference in Kingdom Hearts 1. There are Heartless. There's two different kinds. There are Heartless that don't have emblems, and then there are Heartless that do have emblems.
Huh. What's the difference? Do you know?
The difference is when a person dies or something dies, a heart is released and turns into a Heartless. Because it goes to Kingdom Hearts, becomes a Heartless.
Right.
Those are pure blood Heartless. And then there are emblemed Heartless, which are artificially made Heartless. Like people are turned into Heartless. Specifically turned into Heartless. And by Ansem. And that's why when you kill them, they release the hearts. So, just side note.
Man, that makes a lot of sense.
So non-emblemed Heartless are pure blood. Emblemed Heartless are real.
Huh.
Which is why, like, Kingdom Hearts opens up and there are tons of Heartless and stuff inside. It's because that's where they come from. But Kingdom Hearts Light. It's a whole wild,
it's so crazy, you know. And the game itself has this, like, obvious premise of, like, you're chasing the light and, like, you're sort of a light bringer. But, like, behind that door, where we're probably jumping out forward a little much, but the things that you think behind that door aren't exactly what you thought they were.
I mean, it's wild in general, because even the Heartless, so the organization they want Kingdom Hearts, and they're creating Kingdom Hearts by capturing the hearts that are released when Sora kills the Heartless. The kicker is, it's an artificial Kingdom Hearts. It's not even a real Kingdom Hearts.
It's not even the real one.
So that leads to, like, this thing of the nobodies are creating a fake Kingdom Hearts because they're fake. Like, it's a whole duality kind of a game, which is really, really neat.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I like it a lot.
I've always been interested in stories like that.
And then it only gets crazier. Ultimately, though, we know that from the first game, Mickey and Riku were in the Door to Darkness. And they got out. We know that. A lot of it had to do with Roxas, but Riku was sent by Diz to capture Roxas. Sorry.
Yeah.
Riku was sent by Diz to capture Roxas, embraced the darkness, and then took on the appearance of Ansem from the first game, which only caused more freaking chaos and confusion.
So yeah, and you end up seeing him at some point, and that's like, man, this game, it gets so fast. I feel like there's such a good pacing in this game. The first half,
it does really good.
It's like such a strong build up, and then the point at Hollow Bastion is where, in my opinion, the crossing point for the game after you fight what's his name, Demixis or that
Demix.
God, I think he might
guy
be
with
the
the
most,
guitar.
Yeah, he might be the most annoying boss fight on Broad Mode.
The sitar.
But you have this thing with Mickey. Goofy gets hit. You think that you lose Goofy?
I wasn't even going to talk about that.
See, that's super important.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, so he gets hit really hard, and this is kind of like the turning point.
That was a moment in the game, man.
Yeah.
I remember experiencing that, and I'm like, they just killed.
You're
Goofy.
just like, what happens? You can't,
crazy.
like, he can't. Nothing happen. Nothing can happen to Goofy.
Yeah, you're like, no, but they ultimately leave him behind.
Yeah,
and you're like, holy crap, he's gone.
Yeah, he's like, oh no.
So
but
I wasn't going to talk about that, but you brought it up and ruined it for everybody.
That whole moment is a big turning point, not only because there's a couple of big things that happen, but also there's a point where Maleficent, you have this interaction with the organization where Sora's like trying to defend himself and save Hollow Bastion, but Xemnas appears and he's like, actually, I'm sorry, Axel tries to show up and get him to stop or something, right? And Xemnas comes and he pulls Axel away and he's like, no, Sora, keep destroying the arts. You fuel your anger or whatnot. This is what you must do anyway. So Sora's like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, there's a really moment where Sora doesn't know, should I stop fighting Heartless? Should I he can't allow them to overrun, but he has to stop them. But he doesn't want to stop them because it only furthers the plan.
Exactly.
It's a really
it's so high tension. What do you do? And then Maleficent out of nowhere just shows up in the fucking 11th hour. And I love this. Maleficent shows up and she's like, this is not for you guys. This is for me, but you need to leave right now. And she like takes all, which is there's a weird dynamic because since the nobodies are crafting and harvesting these fucking artificial Heartless, she's now attacked by the artificial Heartless, kind of bodying them, and then sending us into the plane of darkness.
What's super crazy, that exchange, is you have Xemnas there, and then you have Maleficent that shows up, and well, maybe it's Sykes, maybe it's Sykes.
It's Sykes, yeah.
And it's really funny because they're sitting there and he summons nobodies. She summons Heartless. And then she says something and she's like, the nobodies just listen to whoever's stronger. And the nobodies turned on him. and then they all ultimately turned on her.
Yeah.
Like it was wild how everything happened.
Such like
or maybe it was the other way. Maybe the Heartless joined him and they all There was an exchange there that was really cool. She ultimately blocked Sora and Peeps to go and stop the thousands and thousands of Heartless that were attacking to benefit both, right? So like he's releasing hearts, that's building up Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, and then you get sent to the this like plane of darkness because she gives you a getaway. You wake up and you're like, what is this? There's nothing. You find the black hooded figure again, giving you a box, who you find out later, like I said, is Riku, but under he's shrouded in darkness and he takes on the form of Ansem. You don't see that right then, but he leaves you a box with the photo of Roxas and his friends, Hander, Pencilette, and the salt ice cream, which is actually the gateway portal to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, leading you onward to the remainder of the game. If I'm leading,
the world that never was, or the end of the world, or something like that.
The world that never was.
It's one of those. Those are both used in the game, and I think one of them's Kingdom Hearts 3.
Really?
I think one. Yeah, it's something like that. The end of the world, a world never was.
Gotcha. Which is super cool and thematic.
I get confused because there's so much Kingdom Hearts stuff just in my brain.
Oh yeah, encyclopedia. At some point, you'll be able to let it just bleed out.
So ultimately, all these things happen. You find out that Riku is Riku. He's shrouded in darkness. He embraced the darkness, took on the form of Ansem to do whatever. Diz, who you find out is the real Ansem
the Wise,
who is the master of Xehanort. He was like an apprentice who became a Heartless and took on the name Ansem. Became the Ansem that you fought in the first game. His nobody, Xemnas.
Who's the leader of
Who is the leader of Organization 13 that you fight in this game. So there's that connection there. Diz decides, or Ansem the Wise, decides to encode the Kingdom Hearts that is being built. And ultimately that fails. blows up. Diz is gone. I think he's dead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And then it also, because it exploded in a big bright light, it also eliminated the darkness in Riku. And Riku's back to normal.
Yeah.
And then from there, essentially, you go on to finish the game, which is defeating Xemnas.
That's right. Which is like that whole last boss fight is so epic too.
There's
like,
a whole ton of stuff in there, and like, but that's the general story.
Yeah. Talk about like that last boss fight. Talk about like something I've always enjoyed that certain like RPGs do now and then. But in this one is like talk about multi-phase boss fight, right?
Oh my god!
It was like 4 phases, but it wasn't like a Souls like phase where you beat phase 1 and then you get into the second one.
It was like boom, you fight a boss, then boom, you go over here and fight a boss, boom, you come back, but it's all the same.
It's all the same boss,
or same kind of connection.
And it really kind of makes you feel...
When you think you're done, you're not done.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you feel how, like, at the end of it, when every time you beat like one of those phases and move on to the next one, not only are they actually harder, like way harder, it's like there's some kind of visual representation that is like, no, this is my next fucking form. Like, and
this isn't even my final form.
Yeah, this is not my final form. And then by the end of it, Xemnas, like with his like black and white cloak in that white room, just literally fucking zipping around like a goddamn Jedi, shooting like fucking lasers and shit.
He does use lightsabers.
Like, and he just uses lightsabers. It's, dude, talk about like.
Which I wonder if we'll get a Star Wars level in Kingdom Hearts.
I was surprised that we didn't get one in Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's because it was too close to Toy Story.
Oh, I gotcha. That makes sense.
They wanted unique levels.
I see.
And not something that would be too similar to something else.
Yeah, too many different, yeah. But, I mean...
Well, maybe not too close to Toy Story, but still.
It's like, just like an extra. Don't give them all of it. You gotta make them wait. Make them hungry.
I can't wait for another Kingdom Hearts game.
I can't wait. I have another Kingdom Hearts. I got a lot of them to play.
I can't wait. And I don't know what they're going to do. There's so much. So that was the wrap up of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
We pretty much talked about it.
There's obviously tons of stuff that we could really delve into about this game, but as we preface this podcast, we really wanted to delve specifically into Kingdom Hearts 2. That way, we're really building up for Kingdom Hearts 3 because I'm basically giving Doc free range for Kingdom Hearts 3. Once I play that, the whole story should just be given access to me, or no spoiler warnings.
I think it'll be crazy because you're going to get through Kingdom Hearts 3 and you'll be like, what's happening here? What's happening here?
I'm going to have questions. Right?
And we're going to have to talk about it.
Totally. So that's kind of what we're building up for now.
That'll be a fun episode. You can ask me questions.
Oh, yeah.
In the episode, I'll be like, and answer them all wrong.
Yeah, they're just all false. That episode could be long. Just a warning.
It might be a 2-parter.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it totally could be a 2-part episode. Fart.
But so, as we're wrapping up this episode, one thing we can say is if you want more detail about these games that we've been talking about, more detail in Kingdom Hearts 1, more detail in Kingdom Hearts 2, though I feel like we gave a ton. But if you want something specific or any of these games that you're hearing us talk about, just let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
We would love to break down more games and more things. We're just playing games and trying to get through them and talk to them and talk about them.
Talk to them? Talking the game?
Yeah.
Just pull a game out and just
talk to the game and talk about them and talk through them and things like that. So we don't hit every single aspect of a game.
Yeah, because we don't really... we're talking about from our experiences like, hey, Doc, what'd you think about this game?
Yeah, and we're literally just talking to each other about it and talking to whoever's listening or watching.
And and I think this is a good moment.
While trying to give you enough information about the game to maybe play it.
Right, yeah, to maybe entice you enough.
Or to engage in conversation.
Right. I think right now would be a good time to just say thank you to everyone that has been watching us.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that both of us...
We don't do that often.
Yeah, we don't do that a ton, but I know we've been doing this for a while. And I've gotten a handful of people that will reach out to me and they're like, dude, I just watched any episode. It's awesome. I loved it. And I'm excited to play that game now. Or
tell them to share it.
Yeah.
Leave comments.
The content.
Tell them to leave comments on the video and share it.
I do.
They don't.
Well, everyone needs to do that.
I mean, they should, though. That helps us get it out.
It does help us. So if you liked this episode, please drop us comments. Let us know what you liked about it, or
let us know what you
looking
hated
for.
about it. That's fine too.
That is fine too. Doc, baby, where can they find you playing said video games that we talk about?
Ooh, I might be playing Kingdom Hearts 3 now. So you can find me on all the socials at RX_Bishop_MD. It's on the screen somewhere down here.
That's right.
And that means Twitch. You can find me on Twitch, and I'll be playing probably something.
Go follow me on TikTok too. You got a TikTok.
You can find me on TikTok. It's the same as well.
That's right. You can find me. I'm not currently streaming actively right now, but I'm still playing these games and stuff like that. You can find me on my socials. It's a lot of tattoo stuff right now. NevrEndingPants, or go to NevrEndingPants. You'll find my other accounts.
There you go.
I'm not gonna give my name out here. It's just pants.
We don't have real names here at the ScrubHub.
Right, we're all scrubs.
And you know what that means? If you're not good,
you gotta get good. It's how many times do we have to bring this up?
Every time. We say it every time. We have to say it every time.
Well, at some point, I would really like to not have to remind them. I'm getting fed up with it.
That sounds pretty good. But guess what? For every good person, there's someone who's not good.
Let's
get good.
True. You got to get good. We'll see you guys in the next episode, and thank you so much for tuning in.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.